fans, what's going on? Just seeing everybody get on here live. I kind of did an unexpected Facebook Live, so I'm gonna see if everybody's on. I'm getting loaded here. Figure I'll talk to you for a while until they figure out what they're going to do here. Hopefully they get me unloaded soon. So I hope everybody's been good, man. I hope everybody's making money. Folks, I don't know. I don't know. Trucking is trucking's doing its trucking thing. I hope you guys are keeping positive. I'm trying to. I hope you guys are keeping positive. I'm sorry I had a phone call. I hope you guys are keeping positive, man. I hope you guys are making money and things are going good. The state of the country is up in question right now. Okay. When costs go up, it can't be good in our business because people stop buying and loads slow down now. I hope it doesn't. I mean, maybe it won't. We're going to see. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Not really getting any hellos or anything. Well, I guess everybody's working. It is like 3 o'clock on a Friday. Today's payday. How was your payday, guys? How was your payday? Mine was garbage. Mine was garbage. God, give me. Hey, Kyle, what's up, man? So I put all my videos back up, and I'm just gonna let it ride. I was supposed to get out of trucking this year, but it looks like I'm gonna be delayed a little bit. So I figure I put up my videos up, for you guys, entertainment purposes. I'm gonna try not to take comments personal or let it get on my nerve because it was working my nerve for a while. I'm a kind of guy I don't like disrespect too much, and I always have something to say, and I really don't need to always have something to say. Hey, Claude, what's up, man? How's it going? So I'm trying to figure out how you guys are doing out here. How's the money looking? You guys are doing well. This paycheck was kind of weak. Well, it was weak for a reason. I went home on home time for a week. I came out, and my paycheck, had to pay my fixed cost. So I always hate doing that. The fixed cost bullshit. I hate it. I really do. James Claude, no English, no CDL. Yeah, man. If you guys look on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, there's a vicious rumor going around that Arkansas is trying to ban. Hey, Allison, thank you. Thank you. It's good to hear that. There's a rumor going around saying that if you can't speak English, they are going to take your CDL away. Arkansas can pass that law. Only thing that's going to do is cause truck drivers who don't speak English to go either Louisiana or go up on Illinois. And we all know Illinois is, sanctuary city friendly. Hey, Blake, how's your day going? It's going, bro. It's going. I don't know what's going on, man. This, I think we all been had. You know what I'm saying? I think we all been conned because Trump is doing some things that are just crazy to me. I mean, they are, I mean, he's only been in for like 2 months, office for 2 months, and things ain't going good. Hey, Blake, thank you, man. That's kind words. I appreciate it. Those are kind words. So, yeah, let's see here. Hold on a second. I'm getting unloaded in the door, and there's a guy walking with a gun next to me. I guess he's security or something. Yeah, he's security. Anyway, I don't know, guys. I'm just getting on here to see if I can have a conversation. How do you guys feel about that? If they make you have to read English to drive a truck, that's wild, right? Yeah, that's wild. I mean, you should be able to understand English and read English if you're driving a truck because the signs are in English, and that only makes sense, right? But it is a form of discrimination, though, you know, and that shouldn't be cool, you know. Now, my last video, a lot of guys were saying, well, it's foreigners taking the cheap freight and stuff like that. I don't know if that's all accurate, I don't know if it is. Oh, boy. Doesn't look like I have a bunch of people on here. I guess because I haven't made a video in a while, all my subscribers disappeared on me. Well, I'm trying to make a little comeback, I guess. I guess I need to make more videos. So, I agree that you should read and speak English properly. I had to fight with someone down in Florida because he couldn't read his door number. Claude, ooh, wow. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I had the same issue too. I mean, if you saw my video I just uploaded, there was a Chinese guy, well, Asian guy. I don't know if he was Chinese or anything, but he couldn't communicate with the receiver and the check-in guard, and she had to use Google Translate to talk to him. So she took his phone and talked to the phone, and then she handed it back to him. But if you saw in the second clip, he was able to drive a truck into the door. So he just don't speak English. I blame a lot of stuff, man. I blame partially myself too because getting on YouTube and telling people how much money you make. I had people from Pakistan, India, China, Mexico, all parts of South America looking at my videos, and they were like, "Oh, if I only make $3,000 a year here, and I can make $3,000 a week in that country, I'm going." And they all showed up. A lot of men came to this country, especially military-age men, and they got into trucking. Now trucking is saturated. Austin Bowman, I can go to Quebec and drive, but everything is in French. Yeah, you know what, Austin, I've been to Quebec. I used to drive for Indian River and go up there to pick up cranberry juice. And things are in French and things are in English. I always had to set my my GPS to be English only and convert everything into, English when I was up there, but I was still able to do the job. I never forget, I went to go get unloaded up there, right? In Quebec, Montreal, and the receiver came out and he saw me and he saw that I was American, and he started speaking French to me, and he was like, "I don't understand." I was like, "What?" And I was getting nervous. He was like, "I'm just kidding, man." He said he had me nervous, but he they speak French and English up there. English is the standard language though, but French is an elective. You know, I miss Montreal. I haven't been there in a few years. I got family that actually lives there. It makes me miss it. I might have to go up there. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just we're 2 months into this new administration, and things are changing for the worse. It seems. My hopes, right, was Trump jumped the fuel prices. Kind of pump fuel more and get those fuel prices down because they're still relatively high. Um, I'm down here in North Carolina right now, and fuel is $4.05 a gallon. Okay, that's what it's showing at the petrol there, I think it was, and that really needs to come down by like $2. It does. I want to see cheaper fuel. Cheaper fuel will definitely help out truckers. Do you know what I mean? Because instead of spending $800 a week, 800 bucks, to fill up your tank, you spend, half of that, you know. it just helped out. So, but fellas, I'm just sitting here thinking. That's all. Doing some thinking. Just trying to clear my mind. Edward, hey, what's up? It takes time to get the fuel prices down and get the country righted. It could take 6 months to a year. Hey, Andrew, I'm gonna say this, right? I remember when Trump lost the last election and Joe Biden came into office, right? Trump had the fuel prices. Well, during his administration, we were paying about $2.89 a gallon, for diesel, and within like 30 to 45 days, the fuel prices skyrocketed. I don't know if you guys remember that. In California, diesel got as high as $8.50 a gallon. In Pennsylvania, it was $7 a gallon, $6 a gallon up in New York. So that happened relatively quickly. You know what I mean? And I was kind of hoping for the opposite. But I guess for 4 years after you shut down all the pipelines and all the pumping, I guess it takes a while to get back on. But I'm hoping that they shut it down, man. They open them up again and get the fuel pumping again. What fuel companies? What fuel companies can you invest in? Well, Exxon is one. I mean, the big ones. If you're looking at stock market, I think Exxon's a big one. Uh, their stock symbol is XOM. They've been a dividend king for many years. So, I don't know, bro. Just sitting here, man. I'm just thinking. I guess I need to start making more videos and bringing YouTube up to speed. I'm still pulling with the same company, doing broker freight. Yeah. Exxon Mobil is a dividend king. I mean, they've been paying dividend, increasing every year. They're pretty solid company too. You know. But yeah, guys, like I said, I think I have to start making videos more, I guess, and talking. I don't know. Yeah, hey, Andrew, Edward, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm cool. I feel like in trucking, right? I don't want to be out here on the road for less than like $2,000 a week. You know what I mean? Like when you make a paycheck that's under $1,000, it's like, why am I doing this shit? If you take your paycheck and you divide it by 70 hours a work week, you get your hourly rate. And sometimes that hourly rate's like $8 an hour. Okay, I'm serious. Um, you want to be out here for over $2,000 a week. That stays on my mind. You know, I think trucking isn't worth it if you're out here for under $1,000 a week. And there should never be a situation where you out here working 7 days a week and you're bringing home less than $1,000. It's a waste of time, you know. Especially with the cost of living and things are going up. You know, how the prices in the stores raising and fuel's raising, but my pay is like stagnant. Wages in trucking have been stagnant for years. Well, actually, these last, 3 years, about 3 years, it's been. We were doing good between 2017 and 2021. Then all of a sudden, the bottom fell out. It's been pretty shitty, you know. So anyway, guys, let's have some interaction. What's going on, everybody? Everybody doing some payday. It's Friday. I think it's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. It's paydays. Everybody all right? Luke Skywalker. In 2 years, I can't over 1,500 a week. If I get over 1,500 a week, I worked 60 to 70 hours. Body is broke. Luke, that's the truth, man. That's the truth. It's getting into where you're running yourself to death. And tell you the truth, $1,500 a week is not enough. It just isn't. To be on the road 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it just isn't. Especially with the conditions of some of these truck stops, dealing with the stress of four-wheelers and shippers and receivers. It isn't. It ain't worth it. Hmm. Yeah, it ain't worth it. I'm looking at my meters here. I'm sorry, guys. Um, I like to be out here for over $2,000 a week. That's worth it to me. To bring home over 2 grand a week in trucking. Seeing paychecks for 2,000, 2,500 bucks a week consistently. That's what you want to be. But it hasn't been that way in a few years. I mean, every now and then you'll hit it, but it's very rare. It's not consistent. And that's why a lot of guys are getting out of trucking. A lot of people are done with this industry. You know what I mean? Because the money and the time invested in this is not worth it. I don't know if you guys listened to my Luke. I'm local, but it was similar. Austin Bowman. I feel like 2,000 a week is not enough, especially when you own the truck, bro. Austin, that's a hit on the spot, and that's why I don't understand. Because you got owner operators out here, right, that own their trucks and only bring in like less than 1,300 bucks a week, 1,500 bucks a week, and they actually own their equipment. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not worth it. And see, what happens is those guys are stuck in it because they have a truck, and their skill is the truck driver. They can't really go do anything else. Edward, might want to look into R&L. They are LTO, depending on where you live. They get you home every weekend. Great money, although you have to pull doubles. Yeah, I got my doubles endorsement and triples endorsement. Unfortunately, where I live, there's not an R&L carrier near me. But I had a friend who worked for them on the other side of the state, and he was let go. He was laid off a couple months ago. He's a subscriber. He was laid off, so I don't know what happened. But Austin, I agree with you 100%. If you don't, I mean, when you own the truck, you should be making like 5 grand a week. You should. And you know what? It used to be like that. I was talking to some old timers, right? Guys who drove back in the 90s and the early 2000s. When you owned your equipment, you were bringing in boatloads of money. Boatloads of money. It wasn't this scrape by bullshit. You were bringing in 10 grand a week. Matter of fact, when I first started my YouTube channel, I guess I had my YouTube channel for almost 5 or 6 years now. Before I even started creating content, there was these two guys that used to work for Eagle Transport. I think the Eagle Transport's out of business, but they were really kind of big back in the day. And basically what happened was these guys used to have YouTube competitions on how much they gross per week. And they used to put their numbers out, and whoever grossed the most that week used to buy the other person a 6-pack of beer. And these guys were grossing $14,000 to $15,000 a week. Okay, and they were owner operators over at Eagle Transport, and they were pulling dry van. Now I don't see their YouTube channels anymore. I don't know what happened to those guys, but that was back in the day. Let's see here. Luke, you're right, Edward. Co-worker of mine just showed me they're hiring a lot right now. Okay. Austin, I own both truck and trailer. What sucks is I delivered to San Diego yesterday, and there was zero freight going home to Utah for me. So I had to deadhead home. Freight is bad and SoCal. Jesus. Austin, every time I go home, it costs me money. It's crazy. Austin, it sucks. It wasn't like that. It just wasn't like that before. If you owned your truck and trailer, you were guaranteed to be bringing in $300,000-$400,000 a year. Okay, you were guaranteed to be making some real good money. Okay, but now it's not the case. Greed got in the way. All these regulations are in the way now. I mean, if you saw my video, I had a jump, right? The guy jumped my truck, and he charged me $481 to do that, which I think is a ripoff. He only drove 15 minutes to my house from where he's at. And he jumped my truck for $481. It's a ripoff. Total ripoff. But, I wanted to get out of it. I wanted to go work for the government. I do. I want the consistency. But now that's out the window. Trump turned into Thanos, snapped his fingers, and fucking fired everybody. It's not good. But see, I had guys, commenting on my videos. Well, what are you gonna do now? But I still have my CDL, right? So I can still drive a truck. I just I can't move the way I need to move right now. Let's see. That's all. I can't move the way I need to move. But guys, I'm just sitting here trying to get unloaded. I think I'm gonna stop by my house for a day. Take me a nice shower at the house. They're gonna pick up my load up tomorrow. Time creator. I know a guy working at Blue Beacon as assistant manager. $25 an hour, all the overtime he wants. Everyone but truckers make good money and have good lives. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. God. 25 an hour is about what you need to make a decent living out here too, And it is sad that, the guy pulling the freight is the least paid, You need a good company job, preferably something local or regional. You know what you're making every week. Regular home time, that's where I think you're at. Yeah, I'm there. It's just I live in North Carolina, and local jobs, unless you live in Charlotte or Raleigh, they're kind of non-existent. And unfortunately, I don't live in any of those towns. The one local job that I was going to look into, right? It was working for Salem Carriers, and they paid $700 a week to drop and hook tankers, like 250 miles from the house. And I said $700 a week before fucking taxes. Oh my God, no. Oh Jesus, no. Listen, that's slave wages. That's minimum wage. No overtime, just straight pay. I thought that was bullshit. Now I did see that they were hiring for a safety manager, and I think I do qualify to do that. But if they're paying $700 a week for a drop and hook account, I can only imagine what that safety manager job getting paid. It ain't good. So, fellas, I'm trying to hit you a little bit. If you live in the right area, a local job does well for you. If you live in the Northeast, maybe New York area or Jersey area, you can hook up with a fuel tank company or a local LTL company. That might work out better for you than, being in the country. Was it a hazmat tanker? No, Austin. It was food grade. All right, something with the milk. I live in the part of North Carolina that deals a lot of dairy, and it was something like you pick up an empty container at one location, you take it to another one. It's like a relay thing, back and forth. And when you get to the receiver, you pick up an empty, drained container, take it back over here. But it wasn't enough money. So, it was $700 a week, gross, and minus taxes and all like that. What's that going to be? That was a good job for somebody who just needed a few dollars, like retirement or something. That's not a good job for a man trying to provide for a family. That's not enough money. Like I said, as an owner operator, I want to make $2,000 or more a week. As a company driver, I want to be $1,500 or more a week. Take home. Try sheets. Yeah, I might try sheets. Yeah, I might. See the team driver. So, man, they're taking their time here, brother. God, I'm about to go in there and raise some hell. I want to go home before it's too late. Just let me get a day home. God. Class B seems to be paying well. Anything in propane, the merit gas, most drivers are making $28 an hour. You know, Edward, I did read that, and I think I am going to look into that because I did hear that. But I also heard something about them being very strict, or something. I heard something about them, about that merit gas, that you got to be careful about. I think I saw a YouTube creator recently get fired from them for something. Oh, look, they're unloading me now. About time. God. Time creator. CarMax hiring used car salesman. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I do pretty good at GP Transco. Rex. Do you really? What's pretty good, Rex? What's your take home per week? What'd you make today? What did you make? How many miles did you drive? And what was your pay? Edward, he got fired because he couldn't put his cell phone down. He's a young guy. He wanted to be on his phone all day. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that's what I read. I thought that's what I read. Oh, the truck is moving. You see it? They're loading me now. Hope they hurry on up so I can go home. But Edward, I thought I read that. He did something. But here's the deal, right? With the cell phone thing and driving truck. A lot of companies out here want you to be a robot. They don't want you to have, it's hard sometimes, and it gets boring when you're just driving all day. I know it's part of the job. Oh, hold on a second. Rex Payne. My biggest check was $2,300 gross. My average is about $1,750. Hey Rex, how many miles is that? Yeah, Luke Skywalker asked the same question. How many miles is that to get that? Well, anyway, Edward, like I was saying, a lot of companies don't want you on your phone, and I understand the safety purpose of it, right? But you got companies like Schneider. Who else out here? It's another couple companies that they don't even want you to have a headset on your head, or they'll fire you. They don't want you talking to anybody while you're driving for 10 hours a day. How many hours is that? Yeah, more importantly, yeah. Rex, answer the question. We're kind of curious. How many miles and how many hours did you burn? But that's the thing. Having a cell phone and access, especially if you're a young guy. Like, if I was a younger guy, I couldn't do this job. If I was in my early 20s, it would be kind of hard. And the reason I say it, because you have no social life. Being a truck driver is a very lonely existence. It's a very lonely job. And as a young guy, to maintain relationships will be impossible, because every night you're in a different city, and you're somewhere where you're not where the women are at, okay? Because there's not a lot of women on this road. There isn't. Contrary to popular belief, unless you, and even now it's getting harder to meet, women on the road. It is, unless you into escorts or something like that. Let's see. Rex Payne said, I get 60 cents per mile, but they are on it with detention and layover. I'll hit 3,200 miles this week. I average about 2,700 miles, I suppose. No recaps either. A weekend reset every week. Wow, so you 2,700 miles a week and 3,200 miles sometime? That's a lot. So you doing like dropping hook? Luke Skywalker. Yeah, I know that's a lot, right? Yeah, Rex, I don't know how you're doing that, because you must be doing a lot of dropping hook accounts, because it's hard to hit 3,000 plus miles a week on a 70-hour clock if you're doing live unloads. Like right now, I've been here since, I'm on the East Coast, guys, so I've been here since about 11:30. Here it is, almost 3:30, and they just start now unloading me. So how long is that going to take, right? Once they unload me, then they gotta go count the product, and then they gotta sign my bills and give them to me. So that's it's hard to hit those high mileage unless you're doing drop and hook accounts where you just come in and drop the trailer and leave. I don't know if GP Transco has that. I'm not sure. I thought they did kind of brokers. So, but yeah, like I was saying, it's just hard when you're a young guy and you want to. Friday night, your friends are downtown having a beer, drinking, going to the club, and you're stuck at work, somewhere in the cornfield. You're stuck 1,000 miles away from home at a truck stop that's filthy, no food, and no females. Okay, there's no women, and the women you do see, you don't want to talk to them. I mean, they're either there's not even lot listers out there anymore. Truthfully, there ain't. There's trucker women. They are getting better, but they were really crappy when I was younger. Rex Payne. Let's see. Just Brandon. I could do that at T-Force where they all drop and hook. Yeah, T-Force, Just Brandon is also a union company, so that's a good job to have. If you're working there, you're good. Unfortunately, I wish I lived closer to a terminal, or I'll get on with them. DW2. 2,500 miles a week is sustainable. Yeah, about 2,500 miles a week is where you're at, and that's so you don't have to do a reset. Anything more than that, you're gonna be screwing yourself. Rex Payne. My wife rides with me. We rent out our house, never go home. I make sure to use my split sleeper and run my hours out. It can be a grind, but the reset is always awesome for us. Yeah, because you get to take. Yeah, I understand. Luke, he's talking about gross pay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Because taxes knock that all down, right? Edward, no, you don't want a trucker woman. No one, not the ones I've seen. Get your passport. Look, bro, listen. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about the women and stuff, man, but it ain't a whole lot of beautiful ones out here that you want. So, like I was saying, being a young guy doing this job it'd have been crazy. It would have been crazy. I'd probably got myself in all kind of trouble, as far as delivering loads and stuff, because, you get to a city, you want to enjoy yourself. You don't want to be working all the fucking time. Tim Creator, 1 accident, 1 injury, elect. What would your plan B job tomorrow? Time Creator, that's a very, very, very good question. Honestly, my plan B was to get out of trucking this year. I don't know if you're a new subscriber to my channel, but I was trying to get a job with the federal government. I was going to do something with asylum seekers. I was going to interview asylum seekers. When Trump got into office, my application was pulled. That was my plan B. And I was going to take a duty station anywhere. I mean, I was going to take it Florida, New York, New Jersey, El Paso, Yuma. I was going to move. But unfortunately, that job is closed now. And what Trump is doing with the federal government is brutal. He's like Thanos. He snapped his fingers and half the industry is gone in the government. Rex Payne, always good luck. Glad you are posting again. Yeah, thanks, Rex. I appreciate it, man. Figure I'd get on here and just talk, because it doesn't seem like I'm going anywhere anytime soon. So I'll unlock my videos again. You guys can watch my past videos and, entertain yourselves. Let's see. DW2. I got my MC activated this month. Going to let it sit for 6 months. Then buy a truck and pull freight for Amazon. Good luck with that, bro. Good luck with that. I hear all kind of crazy things out of there. Amazon, I heard they don't pay well. But hey, try it out, bro. It might work for you. Try it out. I hope they finish up soon. What time is it? Maybe I get home by 5 or something. Just want to get home and get into a nice shower, man, and relax. You know, take it easy for a spill. Speaking of that, I guess I need to get my stuff packed up before going to go home. So, anyway, fellas and ladies, you know, thanks for subscribing again. Thanks for tuning in. I try to go live every now and then, you know, to see what everybody's up to. Hope you guys come back. I then lost some subscribers for me not being active. But really, my thought was, you know, I'm going to go another direction. I figured, you know, kind of pull my stuff off the internet so it doesn't, you know, interfere with my, you know, my future employment. DW2, I work for them now on the company side. Oh, okay. Are you home daily, or do you stay out over the road with that? Well, anyway, fellas, I hope everybody's good, man. Peace and love, you know, and hope everybody made a decent paycheck. My paycheck this week was enough to buy me a hamburger. You know, I hate working hard and having to pay to take time off. That's the thing that sucks when you lease a truck. It's almost like a punishment to go home and actually relax, you know. And it's designed for you to stay and live in this damn truck all day or every day. So, home daily, Northeast. Oh, okay. You know, like I said earlier, you know, I think Andrew asked me that question. You got to be in the Northeast in a good area to get an LTL or home daily job that works. Unfortunately, I live in the country. Okay, where I live at, there's not a lot of opportunity like that. Man, you see the truck there? He back there lumping that stuff. Oof. Anyway, peace and love, y'all, and we'll talk soon, all right?